Hey everybody, welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator and the CRJ. Today is flight 4 of our training run around the UK, and we are currently down in the southern Isle of Jersey in the Gulf, or the English Channel. And today we're completing our circuit and we're flying back up to Birmingham. The flight's about an hour, and the sun is just setting, so it's going to be a bit of a night flight, so we'll get to see what this cockpit looks like at night. Let's hop on board and we'll start getting the aircraft up and ready to go. Alright, so we're inside the cockpit. First thing we're going to do is get ourselves some lights, kill the warnings. So multiple light panels we got to go through here, and we'll get some floor lights on. Flood lighting, and we're going to do this around the cockpit. Get that out of the way. There we go. And we'll do the overhead panel. Just got to remember where it is. There it is. And we'll get the dome light on, and then we'll come down to the main panel hill. Here we'll get the integrated lights, floodlights, and we'll get a little bit on the circuit breakers, so they're showing up as well. So if we go back to our center position, we should pretty much have everything up and illuminated now. This will help us get ourselves set up. So the doors are open and everything is up and going. So after this flight, I am running, once again, I am running the preset weather just so I can concentrate on the aircraft itself. I've read some tips on how to correct the ILS capture issue, and we will be employing that when we come into Birmingham if we have an issue with how she reacts when we come in there. Basically, there's two things I've read. One, you can start high, descend through the glide slope and try to capture it that way, or you can come in the normal way on a flat level, and if it starts to nose down too much, basically you turn off the autopilot, hit heading, which should already have bugged to the heading you're on, and then you reset your altitude hold, so that should bring you out of the dive, and then you reset the approach and you should re-intercept the glide slope, and it apparently works again after that. So that is what we will give a try and see if that works. I've also figured out why my TCAS wasn't showing up properly, and that was a switch I had to do, which I will tell you about when we get down to that point. So for now, let's start going down the checklist and we'll start getting the aircraft up and ready to go. So circuit breakers have all been checked, they are all closed. Nose wheel steering switch is off. Hydraulic pumps are all off. Turn that up a little bit more. There we go. Hydraulic pumps are off. Landing gear is down and indicated down. Spoiler flaps are spoilers are retracted. Flaps are 0 and indicating 0. Radar is off. Put up the rest here. Air-driven generator is stowed. Emergency flap switch is normal. Battery master is on, as you can see. APU is currently off. Electrics are set and ready to go. IRSs, we will now turn both to, put that back on. We'll turn both to nav. IRSs are now aligning. Emergency equipment is checked, and gear safety pins are on board. Airplane documents have been checked hydraulic 3 pump. We will put to on, and then we will come down, select hydraulics, check our hydraulic 3. We are green and we have pressure. I'm going to now turn hydraulic 3 pump off. Pressure is dropping. Everything is good with hydraulic 3A, and FMS initialization. So before we do that, we're going to come over here to our performance, and we're going to set what we have. We have 66 passengers today, and our fuel load for today's flight is 3277. So we'll come here into fuel. Oop. Oh, that should be 66. Enter. And 3277 for the fuel. And that is all good. So we're going to set the payload in the simulator. We're going to copy the data into the FMS. And that is good. So we're going to come down, check our data. Our current active database is good. Previous database is our secondary, and we're all good there. Position initialization, we are at JJ, and we don't have the gate information, so we can't use that. So that is fine. So we're going to go to page 2. We'll grab one out of the we'll grab that one out of the GPS. We'll come back to page 1, and we will put it in and execute. So the aircraft now knows where we are, and our flight plan for today, EG JJ, which is Jersey, and we're heading to EGBB Birmingham. Our alternate today is London Heathrow, and we are going off on runway 26 today. There we go. And our flight number is UKV 5556. It's 185 miles. Not a long flight, like I said. It's about an hour start to finish, and we will execute that. And I'll go to our departure. Runway 26 is what we are going off on, and it's the Bendix 5A departure, and we will execute there. There's our flight plan information. We're going to Bendix. We'll go to our next page, and from Bendix we're going on the G27. We're getting off at Akiki, K-I-K-I. From Akiki, it's the UM189. UM189. To sounds like everyone's getting on board now. E-Paddy. E-P-A-T-I. Then the UM184. M184 to Hemel. H-E-M-E-L. And after Hemel, we will be on the Hemel 1B arrival into Emirates. We'll enter that in. We'll go back to our departure and arrival index. We'll take our arrival. We're going to be arriving on the ILS for runway 15, and it will be the Hemel 1 Bravo. Arrival and vectors. Let me take a look. See how I want to do this. Probably going to be vectors. Yeah, we'll just go, we'll self-vector. That's fine. So we'll execute that. So our route is now in. We go over to plan mode. And we can now go to our legs and we will
on behalf of the cabin crew,
step
I'd like
through.
to welcome you aboard our flight.
So we're going to take off, head east, then up over the coast of Brittany and France, over the channel, up over England.
Over your seat and somebody will assist you. If the overhead bin is full, please make sure you close it as a courtesy to other passengers.
Now I just want to take a look at this.
Check that all your items are put away so that the aisle is clear and other passengers can make their way to their seats.
So basically, from this point here, we're going to self-direct up, and we'll do an intercept, come in for the runway.
Please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be reseated. Feel free to use your cell phones during the rest of the boarding process, but we do ask that laptops, tablets, and any other larger electronic devices are stowed once we depart from the gate.
There we go.
Thank you, and welcome aboard.
So that is good. So we'll go back to the flight plan. We'll go to our initialization page here. Fuel 3277 is correct. And our zero fuel weights should have been transferred over. And let's do that again. There we go. And our flight level today is 290. So we'll go flight level 290. That is now in. We will execute that.
We are ready to go when you are. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard
VNAV is all good.
5556. Our flight time will be roughly 55 minutes. Please note the cabin door is now closed. We ask that you make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your larger devices are now shut down and stowed. If you have not already, please fasten your seatbelt and verify it is
so we have a trip wind of H13. We'll put that in for the cruise.
For departure. Cabin crew, prepare doors for departure, cross-check, verify straps, and stand by for all calls. Flight attendants, please prepare cabin for departure and cross-check.
And the time is set and everything, so we should have, when we arrive at our destination, just over 2 tons. Alright. We'll get you set up there, we'll get you set up there. And that is the FMS setup. So everybody is now on board the aircraft. Close all the doors. Walk around's done. Cabin inspection is done. And everything else is checked. So we're ready for our before start checklist. We'll close the cabin door. Alright, so passenger signs are all on. Emergency lights are armed. Nav lights are on. So landing elevation, our elevation at this airport is, let's find it, 277 here at Jersey. So we're going to want to set the landing elevation. So we got to go up to overhead panel here, and we're going to set 280, which is as close to 277 as we can get. That is now set. Altimeters are set, 1013 set, cross-checked and set on the standby. FMS is checked and set. IRS is aligned. Radios. So the radios are set. Going to pull in the ILS frequency now, 110.1. So we'll put that into our nav1, 110.1. That will give us our nav1 frequency. There is a NDB of 406. We'll set that in as well. 406. I forgot this one can take a little while to scroll through. I think I mentioned before, but I don't remember seeing an NDB having a decimal point in its frequency. It's 406, so that is now set. ADF tone, no. And okay, it's not antenna, it's an ADF. So that's set, comms we're not going to worry about. Transponder, we're on 2000, we're on standby. And we'll turn that to 1, so we're broadcasting that. And TCAS on auto, we're currently set above. ABS traffic is on. Alright. Radios and airways takeoff briefing we've done. So personal electronic devices are currently off. APU, we will start. So turn on the power to the APU. We look here, we're looking for the APU invite to come off, and the solve is on, and starting the APU. See it winding up over here. Electrics have all been checked, and everything is good. Generators are all on and ready to go. Performance numbers, it's going to be a flaps 8 takeoff. Runway is dry. So they are all set now. You can see our V1, V2, VR, and VT. We'll set our climb speed at VT, so 188. So APU is now up and running. Alright, so we can disconnect. The ground power cart has now been removed, and the chocks have now been removed. All doors are closed. We can confirm that by going to the doors page. See everything is closed. Take out that is set. Doors closed and locked. Beacon is now on. Fuel pumps and quantity. Fuel pumps are good. Fuel pumps are now all on. Hydraulic pumps, auto and on. So number 1 is auto. Number 3A is on and auto for the rest. And the parking brake is set. So we are good for our push and start. We're going to push and go tail left, and then we'll start the engines once the push is complete.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released.
Pushing back.
It's a short push. See the moon there rising.
You are cleared behind and you start your engines at your discretion.
So this aircraft does seem to have a little bit of a bigger turning radius. Just bear that in mind when you do your pushbacks. And we will start our engines once we are stopped. That's pretty good.
Pushback complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes set.
Roger. Okay, the tow bar is disconnected and the equipment is clear. We will see you on the right with the pin.
Thanks, and you can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Alright.
Have a good flight. See you later.
So we're good to start
Although the bag
engines.
does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the mask. If you are traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask first and then assist others. Keep your
Engine
mask on until a
2
member
starting.
who advises you it's safe to remove it. In the unlikely event of a water landing, a life vest is located in a pouch under your seat or between the armrests. When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch
You
and
can see
remove
we're
the
waiting
vest.
for
Flip it
20
over your
on the
head.
N2.
Wrap the straps around your waist and buckle at the front. Pull the strap to tighten. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the red cord only when exiting the aircraft.
There we go.
If your life
So,
vest does not inflate
lever up
automatically,
and
blow into
engines
the
to
mouth
idle.
switches for manual inflation. Each vest is equipped with a whistle and light. If necessary, your seat cushion can be used as a secondary flotation device. Pull the cushion from the seat, slip your arms into the straps, and hug the cushion to your chest. Please securely stow all personal items. Make sure your
Engines are
seatbelts
spooling up.
fastened and
We got
seat
exhaust
backs and
gas
seat cables
temperature,
are all
the
in their
internal
full
turbine
upright
temperature
position. We remind you
coming
that
up,
this is a
and the
non-smoking
N1
flight,
is rising.
and that includes vaping. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the lavatories is strictly prohibited by law. All of this information and more can be found in the safety card located in the seat back in front of you.
And she should
Please
start to
suggest reading this and let us know if you
stabilize.
have any questions. Thank you for flying with us, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
Engine is stable. So back up to the overhead. Oop. It's this one. And starting engine number 1. Engine 1 start. We got left engine start. Left engine oil pressure we're waiting on. %, 19%. Up on the switch. Throttle's up. And engine starting. Fairly quiet engines. They don't have that deep roar that the bigger engines have. But they are coming up. So we're waiting for this one now to stabilize. And then we can carry on with our checks. So we got a good start on engine number 2. So after start check, generators are all on auto, electrics are checked. We can come down to the electrical page. Everything is powered. All 3 generators are up and running and all the buses are powered. Alright, bleed valves are in auto. Isolation valve is closed. fine. Packs are on. See the air coming in. APU will now shut down. Anti-ice. Windshield anti-ice is on. Wings not required. Cowls not required. Probe heats will come in a minute. The circulation fan is now on. And nose wheel steering. Okay, come on. So taxi checklist, slats and flaps. We will go to flaps 8. So flap 8 selected and flap 8 indicating. Flight controls. Check.
We're prepared for takeoff.
Full left, full right, neutral, full forward, full back, neutral, left and right, neutral. Trims. So our trim required is 7.8. So our trims are green, green, and 7.8. Thrust reversers are now armed. Flight instruments have been checked, and brakes are checked. There's the yaw dampers are on. The mock trim is on. Did that not click? No, that should have clicked. Yaw damper. There we go. Yaw dampers are good. And everything is good. We are ready for taxi. So just get the other part of the checklist here. We'll now put on our recognition lights, which should illuminate the bottom of the plane there, and our taxi lights, and our logo light. We get a little bit of illumination at the back end. So strobes are off and landing lights are off. Alright, so we are good to taxi. Can't see much at the front though. These are our landing lights. Wing inspection. They only go one way. Alright, let's taxi out to the runway. Just going to bring up my chart so you can see where we're going. So we're basically going around the terminal. And we will see how we do. It's rather dark.
Please note, the cabin lights will be dimmed for departure and landing. If you require additional lighting, there's a reading light on the panel above you.
It's not the greatest light for recording, but I wanted to get a night flight in so I could just see what it was like flying this thing at night and trying to find things in the cockpit. So So we're just going to follow Alpha here, and Alpha kind of takes us around the terminal. Will run us down to the end of the runway. Definitely difficult to see. But this is an interesting airplane to fly, and as I said, once we get this flight under our belt, we will move on to real weather and probably on to VATSIM, and we will see how we manage. I know I've seen this airplane popping up a bit more in VATSIM as people are getting used to it, and we're starting to see it a bit more, which is pretty good that it's becoming a popular airplane. Alright, well, the taxi light seems to just illuminate the side, so I'm going to put on the nose landing light just so we can see where we're going here. Not sure if they do this in real life, but it does help. So there's the terminal car park there. So we're heading out on the last flight of the day. Sun's just set. This is again the default scenery here. You can tell by the terminal building just being a big block, but it's not bad. Got the trees in the parking lots, and this is where the little terminal building for lighter airplanes that would be flying out of here, little sightseeing, general aviation stuff. We can park down at this end of the airport. So we're coming up for the end of the runway. And we should be getting a hold line just ahead. There she is. Alright. Parking brake goes on. So, lights and strobes. So, landing lights will all come on. Strobe lights will come on. And fuel is good. We'll manual override on the crossflow. Flight attendants are advised transponders and TCAS are set. We're on TA and above. The radar displays. Well, we'll turn them on just so we get the messages off, although they're not really working at the moment. So, go weather radar on both sides. And CAS. Crossflow pump is good. Parking brake is on. Right reversers are armed. Crossflow's on. We're going to turn off the APU now. Main crossflow, that's flying. And the seat belts, we are all good there. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn off the floor lights, and I'm going to turn down the floods a bit to try to give a little bit better vision for nighttime. There we go. Yeah, I know. And we are ready to move out to the runway. So let's get ourselves lined up. Should be good to go. Take the full runway. It is fairly short here. Alright, we're set. We're going to go into mode. And we should be ready to go. So we're going to want speed mode, put heading bug, and heading mode. We are good to go. So, brakes are on, engine's up to about 50%, stable, engines are stable, brakes are off, and thrust power is set. Airspeed's alive. It's 100 knots. V1 and rotate. Positive rate, gear up. It's 15 degrees. And autopilot engaged. Thrust back to climb. Flaps going to flaps 1. Nav mode engaged. We're now heading off to perch, which is our first waypoint. It's 4,000 feet. We'll now accelerate to 250 knots, as there is no speed restriction. There's France, or that's the island. That's the airport we just took off of. We're now heading to perch. Oh, beautiful moon out the front window. Going to intercept our course. 6,000 feet. Reversers are disarmed. Cross fuel will come off. Leads and APU are set to auto, and CAS is checked. So we are going to box the white. And we are good. There's our initial 10,000 foot capture.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now passed 10,000 feet. You may now turn on
So
your
we're now
larger
going to go up
portable
to our
electronic
cruise
devices.
altitude of
Also a
29.
reminder to please keep your seatbelt fastened while you're seated and do not congregate in the galleys or near the lavatory.
See if we
This
can
aircraft is equipped with onboard Wi-Fi.
see
You will
that
be
a little bit
required
better.
to pay a small fee if you wish to access it. We do offer complimentary in-flight TV thanks to our partners. Connect to the Wi-Fi and you'll be able to
29,000
access a
feet.
wide range of free live TV and paid movies library.
So our speed will be set for 290, which is our climb speed. And we'll go to half bank just to make it easier on the peoples. That's France ahead of us, so you can see the coast. And the back of the island behind us. So we're going to head out over the over Brittany and France. That takes us to Bendix. I know it had a restriction of 5,000 feet there for Lusset, but decided tonight ATC cleared us through it. No altitude restrictions. And we are off. I don't want all the airport showing. So we will take those off. Alright, so now we're just climbing up to our cruise. Nice view of the sunset out the window. I'll leave you with this. Enjoy the sights and cruise. Not sure how many we'll get since it is fairly dark out. And we'll catch up with you for the descent. So we've just passed through 18,000 feet. We're on our descent into Birmingham. We're on the Hemel 1 Bravo arrival. 1 Bravo. 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 1 Br So we're basically going to come up here, we're going to make these turns to the left that will take us west of the airfield, then we'll turn right, head north, up the left side, the west side of the airport, loop around and come back in for the ILS. So we're just descending now. Our next restriction is at Honley, VOR, which is coming up. We have to be at 9,000 feet. So that's where we're headed for. And terrain radar is on. So after we make the turn at Welland, we're going to start slowing down. We've got a speed restriction of 250 knots at Halifax. Let's see, it's rather dark out. It's 15,000 feet. A little bit below the glide, so we're going to dial this back probably to about 1,000 feet per second. Re-engage that. Should be at 1,000 feet per second. There we go. So we're going to slowly start bringing that speed back to 250. Get ready for that speed restriction. So again, manual throttles here. You got to do it manually. So we're going to start easing the power. So this thing does not like to fly slow. So we are going to try to keep the speed up. As we come in for our landing. So our landing elevation at the airport we're going to have to set is 340 feet. So we'll quickly set that now while we're descending. So landing elevation will be 340. That is now set. Fuel is good. TCAS is set. Radar is set. Landing and approach briefing we've already discussed. TCAS is now set below. Speed's decreasing too much, so we're going to power up. Again, the speed setting is a visual clue that we use to set the bug. It does not do it automatically. Keep inching the throttle, especially as we decrease our descent rate. funny how she's not picking up the VOR. Interesting. Let's turn those off, but it is picking up the ILS, so that's fine. So we're back up to around 250 knots. Gonna drop the range one more notch. So we're at 250 at Pufax, where we need to be.
We have begun our final descent into your destination. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket
And
or
we're
under
descending
the
to 9,000.
all Wi-Fi related tasks and stow any larger electronics.
After Honley, when we head out to Oscott, we have to be at 210. You can see the restriction there, 210. And we'll drop to 8,000 feet at that point. Speed still coming back. And we want to keep in that 250 mark, so there's 9,000 feet coming up. Going into capture mode. And then we will go into heading mode after Oscott and get ourselves in manually for the lineup onto the runway. Right, watching the speed as we level here. Three miles from Honley. Alright, so there's the turn. So we will set 8,000 feet. And we will start down at 500 feet per minute. Again, watching the speed. We're going to want to decrease our speed now to 210 knots. Some of this will be done with flaps as we get a little bit slower. Alright, we're now down below 10,000, so lights will all come on. Oop. Including the taxi lights. Now let's put logo lights back on. Cabin's been advised. Speeds are coming down. Let's see, 1,000 feet coming up. Speed is coming back. I'll go flaps 1. Flaps 2. Definitely going to add some power. Or flaps 2, flaps 8. Alright, speed's just about 210. And we're going to make a turn after Honley onto a heading of let's go 310. Alright, so that's pretty much there. So we'll go into heading mode. Back up the speed a little bit. And our intercept altitude for the ILS is 2,500 feet. So we're going to do an initial descent to 3,000. And then we'll adjust the last few hundred feet when we get down there. So vertical speed, and we'll head down about 1,000 feet per second. So back on the throttles as we're descending. Again, we want to keep the speed up for this. If we go to our source, we change our source over to the localizer. And our localizer course should be 146. We will adjust that to 146. Here's Birmingham. Turn our heading now to 330. Again, we're slowly working our way around, bringing ourselves in. Increase our descent rate to 1500. We'll require to come back on the throttles. And now we will set our landing reference speed. So the performance and our landing reference is in of 340. We're still at 210 knots, holding fairly well. We are now 20 miles out. So we will turn to north. Through a little bit of cloud. So we want to intercept at about 115 degrees. There's 3,000 feet coming up. Just watching the speed. See, you're starting to drop, so we're going to want to correct for that. Three zero. And we're getting close to when we're going to make our last turn to about a 110 for the intercept. Which we should be able to do pretty much now. So let's turn to 110 degrees. That should bring us in for the intercept. It's 22 miles out. Beautiful moon ahead above us. Alright, before landing checklist, flight attendants have been advised passenger signs are on, thrust reversers are armed. So this is a kind of long roundaboutish way of doing this, but I do want to make sure that I get a good intercept and I've got time to correct if it doesn't quite go as it should. So they say you should get the localizer first, so we're going to go a little bit more to the eastward just to grab that localizer first. 16 miles out. And should be any second now. Alright, localizer is capturing. Making our turn. As soon as we're established, we'll recenter the heading bug. There's the runway. Just getting ourselves set up on it. Alright, flaps 3, we'll bring her back to 180. Hold her at 180, or flaps 20, not flaps 3. Glide slope's coming up. So if it goes bad, it's autopilot off, then altitude, heading, autopilot on, and then approach mode again very quickly. We'll see how it does. Speed's at 180. It's dealing with that little bit of a wind coming around. As soon as you intercept, she's going down too fast, so off, altitude, heading, and then approach mode again. See if she'll intercept it properly this time. Oh, I didn't turn the autopilot off. I just kind of reset the headings, coming up for the glide slope. It's much better. I can live with that. All right. So, 7 miles out, coming back on the throttles. Gears coming down. Gears down to 3 green. 5.7 miles out. Speed is coming back. Flaps 30. Well, that little capture trick worked. Didn't have to turn autopilot off. I just had to go back to alt mode to stop the descent, heading mode to keep it on heading, and then approach mode again. 4 miles, and our approach speed is about 140, 138. All right, 3 miles. Flaps full. Throttling up. So centered. So power should be in the 60 to 61 area. slightly high.
400. 300. 200. 100.
Sync rate.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Down, nose down versus green. Fly the nose down. Alright, 60 knots, braking. Take the next exit here. Oh, come on. There we go, reverses off.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination. The local time is 9:14 p.m. and it's currently about 14 degrees Celsius. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated
All right.
until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt
So
sign
nighttime's
is
not too
turned
bad.
off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bins as items may have shifted during the flight. If this is your final destination, we thank you for flying with us. If you're making a connection, we encourage you to check your itinerary to ensure a smooth continuation of your journey.
Alright, so we will get over the line here. And we'll clean up the aircraft. Alright. So it's pretty much over the line, so let's get the parking brake up. So APU will come on. Transponders and radars to standby. And radar off and radar off. Flaps will go to 0. Reversers will come off. Speed brake is up, not required. Probes should go off. They are, because I forgot to turn them on. And landing lights will come off. And strobe lights will come off. I'll leave the center light on so we can see where we're going. And we're going to taxi over to the parking. So this is Mako Sims Birmingham. It is in development. It is not complete, but it is looking very good so far. So we're going to head over to the pier that we fly out of. Carry on along. Echo here. And then we're gonna turn up. I think it's Victor? Not this one. The next one. We want to go to the other side of the terminal there. And it's looking, there's the control tower over there. So this is going to be where I fly the CRJ out of a lot of. Southampton is our other airport, but I haven't found a scenery for it yet. So I'll probably be in and out of there a bit, but it'll be mainly out of Birmingham until we get a nice scenery for there. So we're just going to taxi in now. will be parking down here around 55. And we'll be on 55 left. There we go, 55 left. So jump back in the cockpit. We turn those off and those off. And we'll get in here and park. Again, that was a short flight. A lot of fun. See the stop line there. And there we are. The parking brake is engaged. And we can shut down. So parking brake is on. APU. Oh. Let's start the APU. Well, APU is starting anyway. Wheel chocks are in place. Can I get a cart over to give me power? Oh, yes I can. So ground power is available if required. Thrust levers we will shut down. There's engine 2. And engine 1. Yes, 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 I know. We'll open up the passenger doors. Are open. The anti-ice is off. Pumps will come off. And aircon will come off. Beacon lights off. Logo lights off. Just leave it on. The nav light and the steering switch will come off. So that is our flight. Thank you very much for flying with us today. That ends the training flight, as it were. And we'll be moving on from here to hopefully real weather and VATSIM flights. See you on the next one. Bye for now.